Hey everyone, Mark Hart here from Memphis Investment Properties, and I wanted to do a deep dive into what makes the Memphis market such a great place to invest for cash flowing turnkey rentals. So first of all, it's going to be the weather. So we're located here in the south, so you don't have to worry about having feet of snow on your rental property. I'm from Colorado and Chicago originally, so we're used to having months on end where it's just below freezing. So that means you're going to have an increased risk that your sewers or your water lines could rupture and break. And that's just an added risk. So you don't have to worry about that as much here in Memphis. It'll snow maybe once or twice a year, and it's just a little dusting, and the schools close down for a week, and it's actually pretty comical. So then we're also located far enough north off the coast so you don't have to worry about hurricanes or flooding. So we don't have additional flood insurance on our rental properties either. Then we're also located far enough east that we don't have to worry about tornadoes. Memphis's nickname is Bluff City. So we sit up on a bluff, up on a hill, and as big storms or tornadoes come moving east, they'll dissipate over the Mississippi River and the bluff of Memphis. So we are on a fault line, and like everyone else out in California, so but hopefully that doesn't erupt. Then we're also in the center of the United States of America based off of population. So we're not at the center of the US based off of geographically, but we're at the center based off population. So what that means is we can put goods on a plane, a train, a truck, and get to more major metropolitan cities than anywhere else in the United States of America. So it just makes sense when you're FedEx, Amazon, a large company that is focusing on their supply chain management and distribution of goods and packages to have a major presence here in the Memphis market. So that's why we are the distribution center for North America. We have the busiest air cargo hub airport in the United States, which is also the busiest air cargo hub airport in the Western Hemisphere, and the second busiest in the world. The busiest is actually in Hong Kong, China. So there's a big paradigm shift going on, especially right now with COVID. It's being accelerated, that people used to buy goods in person, in stores, in retail locations. But now everyone's buying goods online, using Amazon as an example. And so when those goods need to be shipped, that helps the Memphis economy, because it's more than likely that those packages are going to come through one of our distribution centers here in town. So then, because of that, we are the fastest growing industrial market in the United States of America right now. So wow, that's really incredible. So what that means is they're building distribution centers. So Nike, they just built their largest distribution center in the world on the north side of town, and that's been so successful that Amazon bought the parcel right next door, and they're currently under construction, and they've already completed multiple distribution centers just in the last 2 years. We have companies like FedEx that are doing a $1.5 billion expansion right now to their super hub. We're also blessed that we are home to FedEx, largest employer in the state of Tennessee, located right here in Memphis. So all those major employers are going to be hiring employees, and those employees are going to be predominantly who our tenants are. So individuals that are working for safe, conservative, large corporations that have great benefits, but they really just don't make enough money to be able to afford to buy a house. Now, if you're making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, you can afford the mortgage, but unfortunately with Murphy's Law, when the roof goes out, the HVAC's gonna go out, and it all comes crashing down at once, and a lot of the folks just don't have the funds to pay for all those repairs out of pocket in cash. So the mentality is, well, why wouldn't I rent and have my landlord cover those costs and cover those expenses? And that has just grown through generation of generation and caused a really high increase in demand for our rentals. So we have an unusually high percentage, above the average annual percentage of our population, that is rentals. And so because of that, we have really high rents and lower sales price of our home. So by having really high rent to value ratios, it's one of the many reasons we have such great cash flow. Other reasons we have really good cash flow is because we have lower taxes. Our tax rates are going to be around just over 1% of the purchase price on an annualized basis. They're going to get reassessed every 4 years. So we're lower than other markets like Texas, St. Louis. And so when you put that all on paper, it increases your cash flow. We also have lower homeowner insurance costs. So personally here at Memphis Investment Properties, we took our own portfolio and we created a master group policy with a larger commercial homeowner insurance company. So what that means is you can get grandfathered in, you can get onto the group policy as long as you have us be your property managers, and it's about 30 to 40% less in average annual premiums, and you also have more coverage. It has about $3 million in liability coverage as well, so that'll really help with your asset protection day one. So if you throw in the high rents, low sales prices, low taxes, and low insurance, that's just going to result in incredible cash flow for you as the investor. We also have our tenants, they have a lot of responsibilities. Number one is going to be on the exterior yard work. So it's their responsibility to take care of the yard. It's also the tenant's responsibility to bring their own appliances. So it's a little bit different than a lot of other markets, but it's a huge advantage because those are the items that get used daily, they break down frequently, and if the tenant brings the appliances, then it's their responsibility to pay for it when it breaks. So we will provide a dishwasher and a vent-a-hood on our properties. If it's a standard turnkey renovation, if it's a new construction property, we will supply those appliances. And then finally, we have utilities. The tenants are going to put the utilities in their own personal name. So they're going to pay for all utilities and you don't even have to worry about that. Then that rolls into the markets. We just got voted to be the 10th best appreciating market in the United States of America for 2020. So we're really proud of that. We've always been that slow, steady growth market that has grown at exactly 2.49% year over year compounding for the last 30 years. So now last year from 2019 to 2020, we just had a 5% annualized appreciation. When most of our investors are going to be putting 20% down on their investment properties. So if you get, let's just say as an example, a $100,000 house that appreciates at 5% in 1 year. So that's a $5,000 gain in equity. Well, if you only put 20% down to buy that house, that's actually a 25% ROI on your investment just from appreciation alone. You couple that in with the cash on cash returns that we're seeing, double-digit returns, and it makes a lot of sense why people like to invest in Memphis. So then the market, we've always been talking about the good, but we also want to talk about the bad. You know, what's the worst case scenario? And Memphis has done very well during poor economic times. So the first is 2008. And what we can talk about is our own personal experience with our own properties. And so the biggest blessing that we had is when individuals and the tenants had to move out, we were able to release and re-rent those properties for the exact same rental rate. Now that's huge because in a lot of other markets during that economic crisis, they had to lower their rents $50, $100, $200. Now they couldn't cover their expenses and they had to come out of pocket every month, and it's no longer positive cash flow. And that's how some people ended up going bankrupt. So for us, we were able to re-rent those properties and continue the cash flow. We're also doing shockingly well during COVID. Right now, we normally collect around 96, 97% of our rent every single month. During the worst of COVID, that dropped to about 93, 94%, which we were really shocked about. We thought it was going to be worse. And then just last month in May, it came right back up to 96%, which is our average and where it needs to be. So we're really proud of that. We're also doing extremely well with our leasing efforts. Right now, all of our investors that have just purchased houses, we already found a tenant for them. So the tenant was either in place physically or they've already been pre-leased, which means that they passed the screening, they paid their deposit, and they're currently moving in. Then finally, in summary, here in Memphis, you've got an amazing team here at Memphis Investment Properties. We've got over 40 years of experience, renovated over 6,000 properties. We'd love to help you guys grow your own portfolio. So hope you liked the video. We're going to be posting more of these, so please hit the subscribe button so you can get an email notification when we do send out new videos. And if you want more information, please visit our website at memphisinvestmentproperties.net. Thanks, guys.